Good morning, sir.
So, 53 years, male came with the chief complaints of right flank pain since 1 month on and off, fever with the chills since 1 month, relieved by taking medicine.
If there is more short history, you can continue. We'll discuss at the end. Otherwise, we'll stop here.
No, we can cut. History of backache, weight loss and loss of appetite, sir. No lower tract symptoms, no history of trauma, vomiting, hematuria, cough, chest pain, hemoptysis or breathlessness, no history of jaundice and no history of constipation. Had
Stop. Go back. Priyanko, are you discussing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us your thoughts.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to know a little bit about the flank pain, characteristics of the pain, whether there is any radiation and...
Not a radiating pain, sir. Not a
And,
no, Priyanko, by now you should be able to tell us that a quick summary of the case, that there is right flank pain, fever with chills, and backache, weight loss. So what are you thinking of? You should be telling us, and then don't tell us I want radiation. Tell us why you want radiation. Learn to talk like that.
Yes. The case of flank pain with fever, I would like to think of inflammatory causes, inflammatory pathologies. So there are different pathologies that can present with this kind of presentation, ranging from acute pyelonephritis, bacterial nephritis, stone disease, stone disease leading to PUZ obstruction, infected hydronephrosis or pyonephrosis, and lastly, I would like to consider genitourinary tuberculosis in this case. So I would also like to know the patient is having fever with chills relieved by taking medication. So the type of medication, whether he took any only analgesics, antipyretic, or any antibiotics as well.
No antibiotics, sir. Only he took paracetamol.
Only antibiotics. Okay.
Okay.
Can we move to the
overall, you're thinking of an obstructive inflammatory process.
Yes.
Which, if it is also causing weight loss, what would you think of? An acute process or a chronic process?
A chronic process, sir. There is associated weight loss.
Okay. Now, you have restricted yourself to inflammatory pathology. Could this be malignancy presenting like this?
Yes, sir. It can be malignancy also, sir. It can be renal cell carcinoma presenting with flank pain, fever, and weight loss.
Yeah, but please remember that in an exam, if I have to ask you, could it be, it means that you're not getting any marks for that.
Oh, yes, sir.
So learn to think about pathologies more broadly at this stage whenever you're given the present history. And sure, you correctly tried to classify it as inflammatory, but you stuck to inflammatory. Think of other causes. So yes, obstruction, inflammation, and neoplastic disorders. If there is anything else you would like to tell us, you told congenital also, PUJ, that's obstruction.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Why should it be a malignancy, man? Fever with chills is there. Why malignancy? Fever with chills.
Sir, fever with chills could be a separate pathology from some overlying infective process.
Dr. Manish asked you, could it be malignancy? And you said renal cell carcinoma. I am asking you, fever with chills, can you get it malignancy? How will you get fever with chills in malignancy?
So good morning. Urine culture is sterile.
What is the mechanism? Morning, Prabhu.
Morning.
Delayed happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
Very delayed, sir.
1 week delayed. Last week we heard that he has taken off.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason for fever with chills? It is malignancy. Any reason? Or you just took a guess that just because Dr. Manish said malignancy, that you get.
So coexisting UTI can present.
Dr. Prabhu said culture is sterile. Dr. Prabhu said urine culture is sterile. You're not listening to what he's saying.
Yes.
You know of any other malignancy that presents with fever and chills? Any other, not urological, any other malignancy that presents with fever, chills? MBBS men, they taught us all. Huh?
Lymphoma.
What is it called?
Philips fever.
Which particular variety?
Hodgkin.
Hodgkin's, yes. What's
Hodgkin's,
it?
Hodgkin's, yeah.
You haven't heard, eh?
Yeah.
Medicine, they taught us when all this.
Yes.
Good to remember.
Hodgkin's.
Hepatocellular carcinoma के नाम से.
Lot of malignancies can present with fever and chills. So I'm asking you, what is the mechanism in RCC?
So tumor necrosis factor alpha. And also
It is also part of paraneoplastic syndrome, isn't it? Huh? Let's go to this. TNF, creating a problem there. So you can get fever with malignancy. Carry on, madam.
Go on with the history.
Sir, past history, sir. Has similar complaints in the past in March 2019, for which he was evaluated and underwent CT-guided biopsy, which revealed xanthomatous reaction with abscess formation. Sir. And he lost to follow-up, and he came after 2 years. Sir. Medical history: he is a known diabetic and oral hypoglycemic agents, not a known hypertensive, asthmatic, ischemic heart disease, coronary artery disease, CVA, not a smoker or alcoholic. Family history is not significant.
So when you say similar complaints, so did he have fever, did he have flank pain, weight loss, backache, all at that time, or what?
Yes, sir. Similar complaints, sir. In 2 years back, he had same complaints. Sir.
History of treatment regarding the same complaint, or he lost to follow up.
Yes, sir.
No treatment. He ran away. And then Corona came. So he didn't come. So what is your opinion on this, man?
Sir, the findings that he has presented with can be a recurrence of the same pathology that he had presented in 2019. Because the patient is having a history of weight loss, so it could be, it can be renal abscess, sir.
Could this biopsy be wrong? Could this biopsy be wrong? What can be
Yes.
what can be confused sometimes is xanthomatous reaction.
Sir, sometimes malignancy can be also confused, sir.
Yes, certainly. But with abscess formation is not usual. Xanthomatous reaction, yes.
Yes.
What about any other? What about any other infection? Abscess formation, this sort of reaction. 2 years ago, he underwent some biopsy. Then he ran away. Then he lost for corona. Then came back now. What other condition can linger like this for a long time? Then produce fever. Then Again weight loss, again pain. Hey, Baba, you know this, no? How many times? Which other inflammatory condition in our country does all this?
Renal abscess,
No, which
hepatic
other condition? Which other condition can go on lingering like this?
sir, genitourinary tuberculosis.
Yes, of course. What is your hesitation? Can there be stone disease?
Yes, sir. Stone disease can be there.
Outstanding stone disease can do this. Do you always have to get xanthomatic reaction with stone disease?
No, sir.
I don't. You can get it irrespective of that.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, what do you want now? Findings, investigation is, what is it? Clinical examination. You want any more history?
No, sir. Can move to examinations.
General examinations. Is conscious, cooperative, oriented to time, place, and person. Moderately built and nourished.
Do you want
Vitals
any
are
more
normal.
information on that biopsy? If you were the treating physician or consultant who saw this patient, would you like any more information on that biopsy? What will you do with that? The resident comes and just says, sir, 2019 he had this biopsy and it was that reaction. What is your reaction to that statement?
Yes, a review of the biopsy.
At that time.
Review of the block can be done, sir.
Sorry?
A review of the block can be done, sir, if the patient has it with him.
Okay. Very important. Or you see, the tendency is to read the final pathology report.
If he has the document
You should
report,
you should read the entire biopsy report. The microscopic description is very important.
yes.
You just read the final diagnosis with the pathology gives. But there will be things in that report which would indicate something for you to treat.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Well, that's very important. Sometimes the pathologist may be able to tell you that, or he may just pass it off. But you've got to read between the lines and see what it is. Huh? Ultimately, pathologist is not going to treat the patient. If the ball is in your court and you have to decide how you will treat this patient.
Yes.
Okay. What else do you want? Show the next slide.
Tenderness in right lumbar region, no organomegaly or lump palpable, bowel sounds present. Positive finding is the tenderness in right lumbar region.
Okay.
No mass is there. Is there any fullness in the right lumbar region?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, what do you want? Proceed, no? What do you want?
Yeah, what are you stuck, man? Go ahead.
Next.
What investigations do you want? Oh,
Sir, I would like to do an ultrasound, USG ultrasound kidney KUB of this patient, sir, to get a better idea, initial idea of this pathology.
Always start with urine or blood test before you
Yes.
go to ultrasound.
Yes, sir. Routine urine and blood test, then and followed by an ultrasound KUB. This
Why do you want ultrasound, man, for this patient? Do you think that is more important for you, an ultrasound?
Yes, sir.
You have some information already about this patient, isn't it? You have a lot of information about this patient's story.
Yes, sir.
And you think the ultrasound is a credible investigation at this point?
Yes, sir. I will. The patient has presented 2 years later with a 1 month history, sir. I would still go for an initial ultrasound in this patient to start up his whole evaluation process from the
And
beginning.
don't ask me after that I want a CT scan. Don't ask me for a CT scan. I won't show it to you.
Okay, sir.
You will manage the case without it.
No, sir.
Then
Okay, sir.
what is the logic of ultrasound, you tell me? Nobody is denying the value of an ultrasound. But you have got 2 years ago, this fellow came with similar complaints where somebody has done a biopsy, you don't doubt that biopsy and says that's a bad reaction with abscess formation.
Yes.
The problem is, for this fellow has been getting fever, chills. Hey, you want to know what's wrong? You want to know anatomy of that area, no?
Yes, sir.
What is ultrasound going to tell you? Some bizarre looking kidney will be there, maybe some stone, maybe some hydronephrosis. That's all. You want to know what the tissues are like, what's happening. You want a good imaging.
Okay,
Huh?
sir. Yes, sir.
So there is no harm in the exam by you saying I want to go straight for a CT scan, sir, for these reasons.
Yes, sir.
If you say CT scan in the examiner will definitely pounce on you. Why not ultrasound?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So ultimately the investigation of choice here is a CT.
CT.
So you should straight for that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
And then you give the reason why you did it. Nobody can refute that.
Okay, sir.
Because the examiner himself will be wanting a CT scan. He will not manage a case without CT scan. Sure.
So
What
the
about
blood
the
investigation.
urine exam? Show him the urine report. Urine report, please. Right.
Cells 5 to 10, bacteria plenty. Albumin and sugar are also positives. So,
Now what do you want? Now what do you want?
urine culture.
Urine culture. Next slide.
Klebsiella.
Okay, carry on.
So, this shows images of ultrasound done in 2019 in his initial presentation. So you can see the right kidney in two sections, cross-sectional section and the sagittal longitudinal section. So here we can see that there is some heteroechoic findings in the upper pole of the kidney, right kidney. The contour of the kidney appears to be normal. The size and shape appears to be normal. There is some pelvic calyceal fullness seen on the cross-sectional image.
What is the most striking thing? Are you right about all this description that they're giving about this kidney on this ultrasound? What is the most striking thing about this kidney on this ultrasound?
So the heteroechoic lesion present in the upper pole, sir, could be.
Apart from that, look at the entire kidney. What are the components of a kidney? The two cortex and medulla. Can you see anything like that here? Can you say categorically this is the cortex, this is the medulla?
No, sir. There is.
That is the most striking thing. The most striking thing is total disorganization of that kidney. There is no semblance of anything that looks like cortex, anything that looks like medulla.
Yes.
There's just a lump there sitting. Okay? Is it large in size or is it smaller in size? They've not measured the size,
Size is not.
Maximum dilatation of 3 centimeters.
the kidney.
Kidney size.
So?
Lesion size 3 into 3 centimeters.
That abscess,
Yes.
they measured. Okay, what about the whole kidney? Looking just eyeballing this kidney, it doesn't look like a normal sized kidney. It looks like
It
most
appears,
quite by that.
appears bulky. So.
What is around it is more important, isn't it? You don't see anything that's normal there. So, this is where the ultrasound only gives you a small little impression, but a better cross-sectional imaging in a situation like this would be more appealing to you to make a distinction as to what is, where is the anatomy, what's happening to this kidney. All right. Okay. So what's your next step?
So I would like to proceed at
Huh?
CT evaluation, sir. CT scan, contrast enhanced CT, which is the urography, sir.
Contrast CT or plain?
Creatinine was raised in this patient, sir. So,
Why can't you give? It's only 1.7.
sir, ideally we need a contrast CT, sir, in this patient. We can go for a contrast CT, sir. Creatinine is 1.7. Wait.
The CT scan machine is not working. How will you answer this question? Everywhere CT scan may not be available. Patient may not be able to afford. Or the day of the CT scan it shut down. Something is happened. What will you do?
Sir, intravenous urogram you can do if the CT is not available.
In this case, you are saying creatinine is 1.7.
Yes, sir.
Always calculate the GFR before you say yes or not, before you decide about contrast.
EGFR. Not my EGFR telling you. Labs nowadays are doing all that. See the creatinine, then EGFR. Something at least to go by. Calculate. Carry on, why are you stuck? What do you want? Have you got imaging?
Priyanku,
Yes, sir.
Priyanku,
Sir.
let me remind you, you are training to be a consultant. Please start talking like a consultant. It doesn't feel like we are talking to a consultant. You give your opinion, right or wrong, doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
So with a creatinine of 1.7, how will you proceed? What imaging will you do? CT is not available. Don't tell me that MRI is available because CT is not available. So CT and MRI are not available. You want to do an IVU. Sir said creatinine is 1.7. Is it an absolute contraindication to IVU?
No, sir. We can go for an IVU, sir.
So will you just order an IVU or will you take certain precautions and proceed with an IVU?
Sir, we'll proceed with prehydration and low dose IVU, sir. So,
What is the low dose IVU?
sir, the minimal dose, sir, 1 milligram per kg body weight we can give, sir.
The idea of doing an IVU is to have enough contrast in it so that you can have the osmotic load, the iodine content should be significant for it to be excreted. Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. More importantly, when you do an IVU, looking at the shape and size of this kidney on the ultrasound, it doesn't look a very hot kidney for what purpose. You are more concerned about the opposite side, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
So you want to see what's happening there, more importantly. So you take adequate precautions. This patient is a diabetic. Normally, in patients who go for an intravenous urogram, you dehydrate them, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell them to do overnight fasting. But in a diabetic, it is recommended that don't have your breakfast, but don't be starving. Take your morning whatever liquid you have to, so that they remain a diabetic who's dehydrated with creatinine has more chance of having a problem when contrast is given. You take your adequate precautions. Some people will use acetylcysteine, all those IV dosing, all that. Do it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. And if it gives you, in the old days, there was what is called high dose IVU.
High dose.
High dose IVU was also done with nice paper from Chandigarh many years ago. 3 milligram per kilogram body weight, so that this high dose IVU would actually be able to be excreted by that kidney, which was an index kidney. And you'd be able to see a faint nephrogram and you see the stone and everything. Basically, it was for patients with anuria who came in or poor with stone disease. It was published in Journal of Urology actually many years ago. And high dose IVU. Low dose IVU is a trick. What happens in most of these smaller hospitals, instead of giving 40 ml of contrast, they will save money and give 20 ml of contrast. You get lousy images. You won't even see a normal kidney which is functioning because the contrast is very little. So they will save money, charge the patient. You've seen all this happen. So standard IVU is 40 ml of contrast.
40.
You give that. You want to give more, you give more. But take the adequate precautions. Anyway, let's move on. We don't want to get stuck on IVU and all that. But it's important to know that how you can get out of a situation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
Get out of the box.
there is a report of previous CT as well, done in 2019, enhancing one thickening with marked narrowing in upper pole infundibulum and renal pelvis, causing marked upper pole or calyceal dilatation with no contrast expression in 1 hour delayed image. Moderate lower pole dilatation with delayed contrast expression. And there is a finding of small abscess in right renal lower pole parenchyma. Multiple enlarged necrotic retroperitoneal lymph nodes are there. So,
What's your opinion on this CT scan? What is worrying here?
sir, the lymph node status, sir, multiple necrotic retroperitoneal lymph nodes are there.
Well, what is worrying about it? I agree with you 100% that that's the most important thing here. Enlarged necrotic retroperitoneal lymph nodes. So
Sir, chances of malignancy in this patient, sir?
what type of malignancy? Considering that you got the CT scan report on top there.
Sir, renal,
Which type of malignancy? Dr. Mohan is not here today, otherwise you would have. His favorite man. Which is that malignancy arising in the kidney where there's a lot of inflammation and a lot of adhesions. You don't know what is where. Dirty malignancy, poor prognosis, large nodes, necrotic nodes. Squamous cell carcinoma, man.
yes, sir.
And chronic inflammation there, may be stone, may not be stone, but this is what it is. Kidney function, it looks totally disorganized, you don't know what is happening inside it. Huh?
Yes.
So these are the important thing there. What's the other worry about this? Multiple enlarged necrotic lymph nodes. What's the other thing that you have to think about in a patient with this report?
Tuberculosis.
What is your hesitation, man? Yeah.
So knowing this previous CT, will you like to do an IVU now? This was 2019, now 2021.
Sir, if CT is available, I'll go for CT urography, sir.
Why you don't want an IVU now?
Sir, CT will give a better delineation of the entire anatomical.
See, there was no excretion of contrast on the previous CT scan. So if you want to get some information on the right side, if there is no excretion of contrast, what information you will have? Unless the kidney is taking up the contrast, you have no anatomical information in IVU.
Sir, we are also concerned about the presence of malignancy in this patient, sir.
So how will IVU
Sir,
rule
that's
out or confirm if there is no uptake of contrast?
So Priyanko, if you had answered the question saying why you will not do an IVU, one reason for not doing an IVU is you don't expect to see the kidney at all.
Yes.
And the second is that you will be looking for know what happened to the nodes. You need to know all that.
Yes.
So if you're asked the question, you say, I will not do an IVU for these reasons.
Yes.
Also, during one of the sessions, I observed that you don't have to agree with the exam. You can use that and make a negative statement like what? Examiner says, will you do IVU? I will not do for this reason. Same thing in yesterday's class, there was the same thing. I will not do. You don't have to agree with him every time. Be bold. Be upfront. That's what we were telling Harish yesterday. Be upfront. Okay. So now what?
This is the report from 2019. I'll move on to the next current line of investigation, sir.
You have to tell what you want. You go.
So city contrast city, sir.
Hey, just now we discussed creatine is high.
Sir, creatinine of 1.7, sir, still prefer to go for a CT, sir, with pre.
See, to answer this question, if you want to cover yourself, you can easily say that in my institution, the radiologist does these maneuvers and will take a patient for a CT with contrast with up to a maximum creatinine of whatever value. Alright?
Yes.
If the value is more than 1.7, you say yes, by our institution, this guy does it. Our radiologist does it with these precautions. If he doesn't do it, we discuss with him and we do something else. Right?
You are worried about the radiologist, the urologist, or someone else? The nephrologist, man. Tomorrow, if the creatine jumps to 4 or 5, the first thing you will say, your urologist should have told me beforehand.
Is there any alternate imaging you would like to think of?
MRI.
What is wrong with doing an MRI? Huh? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you do an MRI, man? If you calculate the GFR of this patient, you can still do an MRI if it is over a certain value.
Yes.
Because, see, You have to go by the previous report, as Prabhu said, no? This kidney was not excreting any contrast in 20. No treatment has been given. The patient still is symptomatic. You think this kidney has recovered miraculously? So
No.
you don't know what's happening. You
Right.
want to know the shape of this kidney, what's happening on the other side, you want to know those nodes. All this can be beautifully seen in MRI. You don't even
Yes.
contrast. You use the urine which is staying there and this thing. Huh?
Yes.
So you got to speak, yeah. Don't be shy and diffident about what you want to say. I think you know it. It's just that you just have to come out with it boldly. Doesn't matter if it's wrong. It's okay.
Yes. I did. So,
So now show the next slide. So you see they persisted with the CT scan in 2021.
next slide. Yes. In this, these are the plain images, cross-sectional images of the. Here, there are some positive findings that can be seen. So, the right kidney appears to be bulky and distorted in contour in the posterior aspect, with fat trending seen in the posterior aspect. Heterogeneity in the area posterior to the right kidney. The left kidney appears to be normal in contour and shape without any dilatation.
What is all this black thing around it? Inside the kidney, around the kidney? What is all that? You have not
Yes,
described this CT scan properly. But
there are multiple areas of hypodensities in the around the right kidney, sir, in the posterior aspect and the lateral aspect. So,
what do you mean
Like-
hypodensity? What is it?
so likely to be abscess, sir.
Abscess. And you see a nice plane between the kidney and the other retroperitoneal structures. See the last slide on in the CT scan on the right side. You compare the right and the left. See the psoas major muscle.
Yes.
What's happened to this kidney looking?
Yeah. There is also
All that has to be described, no? Does this all you know that there is a lesion, there's a lump sitting in the region of the right kidney.
Yeah.
Got some shape which looks a bit on the reniform side, but apart from that, it just looks like a mass of a conglomerate mass of tissue with no
involving up to the
pictures at all. Huh? Any more films?
yes films are there. Yeah. The bladder appears to be normally distended. These are the contrast images. Next. So there is uptake of contrast in both the kidneys. In the right kidney, the cortex appears to be thinned out with dilatation of the pelvic ileal system. So, excuse me. In these images also we can see that there are different irregular hypodensities in the posterior, likely to be collection or abscess in the posterior part of the right kidney with abatement of the perinephric tissue as well as the psoas muscles. So,
What is that rounded structure there in the lower pole, in the lower part, with a thickened border?
that is an abscess cavity, sir. Hypodense lesion is seen. So,
You describe that. You describe that along with everything else that is there. You said this kidney was enhancing. Does it mean that it is functioning? You said the kidney is enhancing, isn't it?
yeah, yes, sir. Uptake is slight uptake is present, sir.
Uptake is present. Why is the uptake present? When they said in 2019 that there was no excretion. How do you explain uptake is present, but they have said that in 2019 there was no excretion?
So Priyanka, we just discussed, could there be a problem with technique? Could there be a problem with the disease? Something else could have changed, no?
There was no excretion up to 1 hour, sir, but beyond that, there might have been further delayed excretion, sir, in the previous.
What are the reasons for which in 2019 this was not seen and now it is seen? What are the possible reasons?
Sir, in 2019, he underwent some kind of treatment, probably. The drainage was done, so, and if there was any obstruction, maybe due to relief of the obstruction.
Okay, so one reason you're saying is the disease itself, that if there was an acute obstruction, contrast it will not be picked up. At least on an IVO, it was known. On a CT also, probably if an acute obstruction, you don't take enough pictures, you may not see it. What else could be a cause? So acute obstruction would be one cause for not seeing contrast in the kidney. Any other cause? We discussed this now in relation to the IVO. Sorry? Could the dose be inadequate?
Yes, sir.
So please learn to think on your feet. Everything is not a textbook question. Please just answer it.
One of the things is you have to make a distinction between enhancement and excretion. The kidney has the function of excretion also.
Yes.
As long as there is a renal artery and as long as there is some glomerulicity in the kidney, the artery will go inside, there will be some contrast, whatever few functioning glomeruli, they will highlight, that's all. So you will see some white. But you won't see the phases of that white. The white doesn't remain, it is a phase, no?
Yes.
Corticographic all that is function of kidney. If there is no renal artery there, then you will get a hair, nothing will happen. It's very, 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 very unusual not to have any parenchyma. That's only a congenital problem. Like multicystic kidney or something like that. There's nothing there, there's no glow. Most of these kidneys will have some parenchyma, some contrast.
Yes.
That is why it becomes extremely fallacious to do a CT with contrast in a patient who's on for dialysis. You put contrast in a patient who has chronic glomerulonephritis, you'll find a kidney enhancing. You will see that kidney there. You get the artery there. But there will be none of the other functions of that kidney. So it becomes very difficult sometimes. You say, oh, kidney, be careful.
You can do
Especially with CT in a patient whom you are going to do a nephrectomy for RCC. Why? Because you must make sure that the kidney on the other side is also good. It must show all its function. Just enhancing is not enough. You shall show excretion, cortical, but then you say, okay. That is why many people take a delayed excretory film after CT contrast to see the excretion and the parenchyma, the collecting system properly as an IVU, a single image. We do it for all our donors. Make sure. Many people don't. We insist. So therefore, it's very important that all these factors are taken into account when looking at it. Okay. So you can't get caught in a trap in a CT. Not only I've seen this happen this happened in England for a patient when I went there some time back. They decided that CT, kidney has they forgot. I said the kidney cracked and jumped up. And that was it. Because excretion. Everybody learned a better lesson. And in that department, everybody will see excretion, late film. That's how they, you have a mistake once and then you change your protocol for the better. Remember this? You see that kidney there, you see some white. That is what is calling it. But what is this? White doesn't mean anything. Everything is white. But there's a functionality to that white. So that's what is important to look at.
Just to add, even you can give contrast in patients who are on dialysis. The kidneys will.
Yeah, that's what it is. It will be there.
Okay.
Priyanka, staying on enhancement, would you like to qualify it further?
Sir, sorry, sir.
Specific question is about enhancement. You said this right kidney is enhanced. So would you like to qualify that further?
Yes, there is difference in the enhancement in the different parts of the kidney, sir. It is slightly
okay.
high.
So there is unequal enhancement in one kidney. Anything else? How do you know it's a bad kidney and the other kidney is a good kidney?
Yes, the enhancement in the right kidney once again appears to be lesser in comparison to the left kidney, sir.
Okay, so that comparison has to be mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. We are waiting for you to proceed with the case now. Priyanka, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Would like to move on with the CT images, sir. Further films, any expiratory films. There is excretion of dye. In the two images, we can see separately on the right ureter is seen separately and the left ureter is also seen separately. Probably the visualization of the right ureter is a delayed image, sir, where the course of the ureter appears to be slightly irregular with narrowing at places. In the upper ureter, just beyond the pujae, then in the lower ureter as well. So, on the left side, also there the ureter appears to be slightly irregular in its course. It's a narrowing in the mid ureter.
So you can see the left ureter in some sections, and in some parts you cannot see it, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So it's a reconstructed image. There's only that much you can derive from it.
Uh,
One thing you must remember that the ureter is a peristaltic tube. And you only will see it in parts.
yes,
Because the films are short, and this is typically seen when you do an IVU. You won't see. So ureter is seen, and ureter is seen in parts and appears normal. That's it, full stop. Nothing more. If there's an abnormality,
Okay, sir.
you'll be able to discern it. So if you just
Yes.
see those things, you see it in parts, that means the examiner knows and you know, I'm seeing the top bit in one section, I'm seeing the middle section, I'm seeing the lower section. I don't see the whole ureter. But in my mind, I've seen all these in bits and I've reconstructed and I said it's all right, it's normal.
yes, sir.
Right, that's all this one does. Huh?
So in these coronal section images, also we can see distortion in the lower pole of the kidney with collection and fat abutment of surrounding structures, and these pathology is seen to be extending downwards along the psoas muscle, sir. So with involvement of the psoas muscle as well. So probably presence of an abscess is there, which is extending downwards, sir. You know.
So what you will do now? You got the patient, you got Dr. Manish has been asking you, get on with it. What are you going to do now? Patient has come to you. Don't forget the history and all this drama.
Sir.
Yeah. So, based on the presenting complaint of the patient, you will take action. So, what do you do now? You've got all these images. What's the next step?
So, drainage of the abscess, sir, under image guidance.
How will you drain this abscess? You will put a needle and take it out, or you will just you'll put a tube. Will you do a percutaneous formal drainage of this tube and drain the kidney, or will you just drain the abscess, or will you just aspirate the abscess and leave the rest of it?
Sir, percutaneous drainage of the abscess with a tube and
Okay. Right. So you will tube this abscess, you will put a tube inside and drain it.
sir,
Okay.
along with that.
Then what will you do?
Along with it, we may put a DJ, try to put a DJ stand by in the same sitting, doing a cystoscopy with RGP followed by stenting. So,
Why not put a PCA tube? Why not put a nephrostomy in the same time? Why you want to put? You're doing probably ultrasound guided insertion of the tube. You put a tube in the abscess and you put a percutaneous drain in the, a PCN in the kidney, nephrostomy.
yes.
No, don't agree with everything. Don't agree with everything. Tell me in which situation would a stent be better than a nephrostomy?
Sir, infected.
Okay, let me put it this way. If one of my diagnosis is tuberculosis,
Yes, sir. I would like to do a cystoscopy with RGP with stenting, sir. This is stenting. If
why?
So it will also give additional diagnostic information regarding the course of the ureter, and stenting would be preferable in the case, sir, instead of a PCN, sir.
Would you stent the opposite side also?
Yes, sir. But stent the opposite
Why?
side. Sir, the opposite ureter also appears to be based on the RGB findings, sir. If the opposite ureter also appears to have some pathological distortions and some anatomical distortion, then probably.
So what will your stenting achieve which PCN will not achieve?
Kennedy 6 years see the girls better.
PCN in case of an active tuberculosis, sir, it may lead to fistula formation later on, sir. So ideally stenting would be preferable if you are suspecting tuberculosis.
No, man, you're putting a stent in the hope that when you start ATT, the stricture will not form. Now, whether a stent prevents a stricture or not is very controversial, but that is why a stent will help. On the other hand, if a stricture is going to form while a stent is inside, you will not know it. So, in such a situation, a PCN is better. It will tell you that a stricture, when a stricture forms on ATP, and then you manage the stricture accordingly. So you please learn to weigh both sides of the coin. If I put a stent, this is going to happen. If I don't, this is going to happen. And you just answer like that.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If you are thinking of tuberculosis, you should have told I am sending urine AFB, UFB culture, whatever gene expert, all those things should have come. You cannot, when you are planning to operate, you cannot say I will do PCN, I will put stent because you are suspecting tuberculosis. Did you do some test in line with the tubercular diagnosis? You didn't say anything.
Yes. Oh, yes, sir. I should have mentioned that, sir. A urine PCR with and gene expert should have been mentioned, sir, done right at the outset due to his initial presenting symptoms.
Do we have that information? Vednaidam?
Yeah.
All negative.
All negative. Okay.
The RGP is there.
RGP is there.
Okay.
Intra findings.
Layering of the IPUJ upper and lower ureter with extravasation of contrast and distorted calyces. Tight lower ureters present, hence PCN was done under USG guidance and purulent turbid urine was drained.
First question that comes to mind. What other investigation do you want them to have done at this time? Okay, in the last line, what else should they have done?
Culture, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Culture
So was the culture done?
drained.
Yes.
Priyanka, take the discussion forward. You have to take it.
Yes. So culture was done from the past, and it shows growth of E. coli.
When Dr. Manish said take the discussion forward, he wants you to think beyond all this also, no? You said, okay, pus is drained for culture. One of your possible diagnosis was tuberculosis, although I know I did say everything was negative, but we expect that you will say, I will take this pus, I will send it for analysis for both tuberculous bacillus as well as routine culture and sensitivity, because I suspect that this patient may have TB on the basis of this RGP with distorted kidney effect. He does not have any LUTs, which may be a factor against it.
Yes.
That side kidney looks all right for what it is, but still possibility. So you go speak here. Don't feel shy.
Sir, it can still be TB in this case. We cannot rule out TB despite negative consumption.
First for gene expert. You said first for gene expert.
Yes, sir. Passport gene expert needs to be sent, sir. And
In fact, it is
some
recommended
other
to send stuff directly from the kidney if you can. Rather than if you have got the best way is actually this yield is better, you take it from the kidney directly, aspirate.
What are you thinking, man? What's the diagnosis? You have done RGP. You put a PCN. Can you start ATT based on these investigations, or you still want to wait?
Yes, sir. This can still be TB, sir. Patient has the anatomical findings are suspicious of genital tuberculosis based on the RGO findings. Patient also had raised ESR, so significantly raised ESR. This patient.
On what basis you think this is tuberculosis? What findings are in favor of tuberculosis?
One is the anatomical disarray of the ureter, course of the ureter, sir. That is suspicious of tuberculosis. Then the abscess formation in the lower pole of the right kidney, which is a recurrent abscess after 2 years.
There is distorted calyces, narrowing at the PUJ, narrowing at the lower ureter, all point towards only one diagnosis.
So, Priyanko, if you had said, while I have no bacteriological evidence of tuberculosis, the radiological evidence suggests very strongly 1, 2, 3, 4, what Prabhu has said, that this is suggestive of tuberculosis. I will give empirical ATP.
Yes.
What is against the diagnosis of tuberculosis in this patient? You must remember that in the exam, one fellow will ask you what Manish and Prabhu are asking, another fellow will ask you what I am asking.
Yes.
You should be able to defend all this.
There is no sterile pyuria in this case. He is having bacteria
Anything else?
evidence.
Anything else?
Start with the symptom.
Yes, sir. In symptoms, sir, he is having only right flank pain, but there is no lower tract symptoms, no hematuria. So,
Anything else?
however, no.
No, is there important information that we have in this particular case?
Fever with chills are present, but no lower tract symptoms or dysuria are present. The only positive findings that can point towards tuberculosis is the flank pain, weight loss.
No, what are the features against? You said absence of urinary frequency, lower tract symptoms are there.
Yes, sir.
What are the other?
Absence of hematuria.
Hematuria doesn't happen all the time. Although I agree with you that for 20% of patients there is hematuria.
Yes, sir.
But it's not usually
most of the patients will have storage symptoms or dysuria symptoms, almost 50% of the patients.
One of the important things in this case is that you have got the chronology history. In 2019, this patient came to you with what appears to be looking like the same thing, right? And tuberculosis doesn't keep quiet. So you have to use that argument and say, for 2 years this fellow has been languishing. Nothing has happened. He has not had any treatment. I would have expected something more to have happened to his lower tract. I would have expected him to have more symptoms because if it was tuberculosis is not treated, he would be a lot sicker and have present with a different scenario. He would have had a smaller blood. That's how it works out, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got to think differently and give a different side of the argument in that case. All right?
Yes, sir. So
what will you do now? PCN has been put, PCD has been put.
PCN. Yes, sir. Empirically starting an anti-tubercular therapy, sir, in this patient.
Starting anti-TB. If you send him to DOTS, if you send him to the DOTS clinic, they will be very unhappy to start. They want proof.
Yes.
They want proof. I hope you are sending your patients to the DOTS clinic and not treating them yourself. The government of India wants us to send all patients to DOTS clinic.
Yes.
So they want proof. They want some reason. You have to send that form, fill it up, send the reason, this. They will ask you what sort of thing. A very discerning officer there. You can't bulldoze some of those guys.
Sir, there are criteria for diagnosis of GUTB, sir. So, despite negative culture, there are some other criteria, sir. Major criteria and minor criteria available. So, based on those criteria, we can start empirical therapy for tuberculosis, sir. If the patient is fulfilling more than one minor criteria, sir. So here this patient is having image-based lesion suggestive of genitourinary tuberculosis in addition to raised ESR. So at least two minor criteria are fulfilled for tuberculosis, sir. So criteria for diagnosis says that either one major or two minor criteria are required, sir. So there is absence of major criteria, but minor criteria are there, sir. So we can start this patient on empirical TB and AKT.
You are talking about the SGPGA study. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, about the SGPGA, major criteria, minor criteria. Where did you pick it up? Somewhere you would have read, no?
Probably from your book, sir.
Okay, so what are you going to do now? Everything is negative. Even the PCR that you put is negative. Nowadays, the array that they are using for GeneXpert, the probes have become very much more sophisticated.
Yes.
Not what it was 10 years or 5 years ago. They've really gone to very high level of molecular assessment of these, and they are able to tell us. Even that gentleman we just saw, that Sabapati, they're very sure this is atypical because they put it on two different probes and it's coming out like that. So they are very sure about it. So, now the diagnosis of tuberculosis is becoming really the microfellows, and at molecular level they're going at it hammer and tongs. So, if you have a good lab, that you got the kits are there, you've got everything now, the technique. So ask them what is they using.
So Priyanka, after putting the PCN, what is the first thing you will do?
Sir, monitoring of the daily output.
Yeah, you will go on rounds in the evening. You will see what's happening to the fever, what is happening to the counts, what's happening to the clinical situation of the patient. If you put in a PCN and there's a dramatic improvement in symptoms, why would you think of starting ATT? That can wait for a day or two?
Yes, sir. So if the patient is symptomatically improving and better, then
So again, you will wait for the clinical response, but you have not explained the cause of stricture. You can stick to your ground and say, I will keep a very strong possibility of tuberculosis in my mind.
okay, sir.
Okay. So can we let him know what happened to the patient after the PCN immediately?
Yes, sir. I have kept everything else.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So any drugs
And was-
that could have caused that high uric acid after tuberculosis treatment was started?
Is there any drug?
Yes, pyrazinamide and ethambutamide.
Pyrazinamide, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Also remember that is creatinine was on the borderline, 1.7. So that itself is a reason for hyperuricemia. So it's a double whammy situation. Both the drugs as well as the renal function deterioration, borderline, is responsible for this. Okay.
So now, Priyanku,
Yes, sir.
thank you, doctor. You've done my simple nephrectomy. It's proven tuberculosis. Now I'm fine. Thank you so much for all your care.
Simple nephrectomy, man. Priyanku, they have put here right simple nephrectomy. You think it's a grab snatch type of simple nephrectomy? Or you want to ask something on that?
Sir.
Frankly, I don't like this word simple nephrectomy.
That means the ureter was left behind.
What, man? Priyanku?
Yes.
बोलो यार. आज बहुत कुछ हुआ
So
यार.
the nephrectomy was in view of the poor.
Yeah, nephrectomy is justified. Poorly functioning kidney. His fellow started anti-TB treatment, developed all the complications, and he got this kidney with 2 tubes sitting inside it. You want to know whether there's TB here, TB not there? Get on with it.
Do you think the surgery would have been simple?
That's what I wanted to know. No, simple
Yes,
nephrectomy
sir.
means, it's a quick in and out job. Huh? As I said in my book, there is no nephrectomy which is simple. Yeah. See, looking at that CT scan and looking at those images, you didn't comment on one thing. You didn't comment on the state of the nodes in the second CT scan. The first CT scan showed necrotic nodes.
Hello, sir. So sorry, sir. Just for a moment, the call got interrupted. I had a call from my consultant, sir.
Okay. You have to go, then you carry on. We can close.
No, sir. No, sir. It's okay, sir. I just
Right.
informed him.
Now remember that in a patient like this with that CT scan, the nephrectomy is not going to be easy.
Sir.
On the right side, you have various structures that you have to be concerned about. So,
Yes, sir.
Prabhu wanted to know whether ureter was left behind. So, you want to say, you did a nephrectomy with removal of how much of the ureter right up to the pelvic brim, something like that. So, put all that down.
Sir.
Priyanku, why not preserve this kidney? 15 ml, 15% relative function. Good function. Anyhow, is diabetic.
Sir, 15% is there, but sir, his GFR is only, sir, quite less, sir.
No, traditionally, the relative function which was used for nephrectomy was 10%. That was, of course, in DMSA, but here you have a GFR. Let's say it's 15%.
Yes, sir.
So going by that, you are supposed to preserve it. So why you still want to do a nephrectomy?
Sir, it is a highly distorted and pathologically distorted kidney with frank abscess formation, sir. So that will have more.
There are certain very typical words which you need to use. What will happen to the bacilli there?
Sir, dormancy of the bacilli and
So the bacilli tend to persist in poorly perfused, poorly functioning kidneys.
sir.
Okay. So which is why you would like to do a nephrectomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is Prabhu's answer. Now this.
More importantly, in a patient with a kidney which is so distorted, getting the planes and leaving and trying to get something that looks normal enough for you to conserve is likely to result in a lot of complications if there is TB still in that kidney, because it could result with a nephrocutaneous fistula. All right. So these are not easy things to do. And the kidney with that amount, there is no excretion yet. The excretory function is lost completely.
Yes.
How are you going to evaluate this kidney, whether it was actually doing any job after keeping it? It's not excreting now, not going to excrete afterwards. So these are arguments that you will use to say that yes, I will do a nephrectomy for this patient. All right. Here we are trying to teach you how to argue a case out, whichever way it is. All right. Remember, there is no right or wrong. Some Prabhu asked a question, why don't you preserve this kidney? Very genuine question, which everybody will ask. But you want to know why he's asked that question. He's probing you to find out whether you are going to give a reasonable answer to say, no, I will not preserve it for these reasons. Manish gave you an answer, I gave you an answer. We are agreeing and disagreeing with Dr. Prabhu. There's nothing wrong in medicine to be agreeing and disagreeing. It's your viewpoint, this is my viewpoint. Alright?
Yes.
So, you got to learn to speak boldly, man. Don't feel shy at all. Don't feel diffident.
Yes, sir.
The important thing is you must be sure of your stuff. That's all. That's what we're trying to tell you in all these classes.
Yes, I'll try to inculcate this.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll do it.
Yes, sir.
You'll be alright by the end of the day. Okay.
Okay. One last question, sir. So this was tuberculosis confirmed?
Final biopsy.
So no tuberculosis. Will you stop eating?
Yeah. No, the thing is, the question that I want to ask is, supposing this is TB, what can happen? Supposing this is TB, and the pathologism is, somewhere there is TB. This is a dirty disease, remember?
Yes. Yes.
What can happen? How will you know it's TB? Now the patient is gone. You have removed his kidney, you have done everything, packed him up and sent him off home. How will you know it is TB?
Presence of dormant bacilli can again lead to further later dissemination of tuberculosis. Involvement of
So what will happen to it? What can happen to it?
opposite kidney may be involved, sir. So patient may present with similar features or presentation involving the opposite side.
Well, he could get any problem related to tuberculosis if it is still there, not treated him. He can present to the physicians, he can present to the neurologist with tuberculous meningitis, with the physician with biliary disease,
Yes.
especially if he is immunocompromised at some point. He is already diabetic, he is living in a corona world, he can get any problem and or he can come to the urologist with LUTs. So, any of these things is possible. So, you can't just write this guy off and say, go ahead. Very close follow-up on this person.
Yes, sir. Follow up.
Whatever it is, it's important. This is the biopsy report. Well, you would again read between the lines of the biopsy. Is there any suggestion in the biopsy micro that there are epithelial cells? Are there anything that looks like multinuclear? Is a foreign body reaction? Those are the things that you need to look at and be very careful. And make a note in the chart that these are things and this patient has to be kept on very close follow-up for me. Every 3 months I got to watch this guy like a hawk and see that. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.